is a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome to SimWorld today. I am B-Ron, and as always, joined by my co-host. Yo, what's up, man? How you doing? Happy
Hey,
Friday.
man, you know I love Fridays too. I love every day of the week. This is my fourth favorite day of the week, though. You know how I love Mondays are number one. Number two is, of course, I love Hump Day. You know what it is. And Thirsty
Yeah,
Thursday, yes, absolutely. And then Friday, we're here, baby. I love them
of
all, though.
course.
Good to be here with you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's good to be here with you as well. We got a lot of things to get into, though. Let's start with the biggest news, though, from last night. The league came through and announced that Barkley James has been suspended, permanently barred from SimWorld Prep, however you want to say it, uh, due to some comments that were made, that kind of thing. Uh, that it's obviously going to have an effect on, teams that were potentially interested in recruiting him. But I want to know, how does this affect Benari James and Isaiah, the other two brothers left of the Jameses in SimWorld Prep? Because we know Benari came into the league last season, came in kind of hot, and rubbed some people the wrong way. And we've seen a bit of a change in his demeanor, in his attitude, that kind of thing. Keeping his head down, staying out of the media, all that stuff. And Isaiah, he's never he's had his spots too, but it's not to the level of Benari James where he first came in, or Barkley.
Yeah. So what's the question again? I'm sorry, man.
No, no,
Look.
it's
I'm kind
okay.
of I'm stuck in the world of what has occurred. But what's the question?
Yeah, I understand. The question is, how does the loss of Barkley James affect the
Affect the
James brothers
brothers?
that are left in SimWorld Prep? Yeah,
Yeah.
if at all.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like we saw some things from we saw some comments from Benari. Benari seemed like it hit him a little bit. To be quite
Yeah,
honest, it seemed like it hit close to home. But I'll also say, I think it may be short lived. Benari he seemed like a compassionate dude. That's one thing you'll say about Benari, is he's passionate. Not passionate in a just, my God, what? Come on, man! It's all aggression. I
right.
think we've seen both ends of the spectrum, almost
Yeah,
kind of like some Bray Wyatt stuff, hurt heel.
yeah,
Yeah, so he seems bothered by it, absolutely. But I think gameplay wise, I think he'll still get it done on the court. I think it's a learning lesson for everybody in the whole family. Isaiah, on the other end, in my opinion, Isaiah seemed pretty detached from how all of that impacts basketball on the court or any SimWorld prep product. Maybe behind the scenes, they're all brothers, but they definitely had their own separate views on how they go about their business, SimWorld Prep, and how they build and model their careers and
yeah.
their paths forward. And quite frankly, regardless of how they feel right now, they weren't very aligned with how Barkley went about his business, and they made it known
Right. That's
publicly,
true. That's very
right?
true.
So maybe it feels bad now. It's almost like that parent, or you may know maybe that friend that did you wrong forever, and then maybe they're no longer around. You absolutely miss them, but it's a little different if they handled you in a certain way that whole time, but you still miss them when they're gone. I think so. I think we're seeing that right now from Benari. I think we're seeing that from Isaiah a bit too. Honestly, the entire league. It seemed like the league seems indifferent. Nobody wants to see kids gone from this. Is very early, but I mean, what he did was it was atrocious, man. And SimWorld Prep, kudos to the league, just simply because integrity is needed, respect is a requirement in
Yes.
this league, and this league is trying to teach young men how to be, or this league, excuse me, is trying to teach young men how to be young adults, right? Or young
Yes.
adults how to be
Absolutely.
young men. So
Absolutely. And that you have to keep that in mind when you're interacting on social media or wherever you are, for that matter, because someone's gonna see it, and all it takes is the wrong person to see it at the wrong time, and that's it.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
we saw that here. And believe it or not, this actually segues kind of nicely into the next thing that we have here on the docket, which is media training here. at the SimWorld Prep level. Yesterday, I posted another article in the Follow the Money series, in this plug, and that spoke about Miss Ana Garcia, who is the owner of SimWorld Latin America, and she herself comes from a journalist background, and her big goal is to help kids get more comfortable with the media because if
Imagine
you're
the
gonna
timing of that. The timing of you
right,
breaking that story, be wrong. What's up
yeah.
with that, man?
I didn't know anything. It hasn't worked out that way. I promise.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Um, Go
the
ahead.
the media side of it. I mean, I think that's a huge part of it. You know, I see in the threads, I see on social media, I see in the feed a lot of different things that have happened, especially over the last couple of weeks. It's been a crazy couple of weeks here in SimWorld Prep, man.
Yeah, really has.
But you see a lot of the kids comment, and they always like. I'm gonna be honest, man. You know, I always keep it a book. I keep it a couple of books in here, to be
Mm.
honest. But you
I
see
might
the
give you $1
comments.
sometimes.
What's that?
I said I might give you a dollar sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I drop a bag. I keep it 100 in there. But when I see all the comments on, oh man, it's too bad, or it didn't have to go like that. It didn't have to. The so and so didn't have to do this, or the league didn't have to do this, or the coach or the owner didn't have to do this, or I would have handled it differently. No, you wouldn't have. No, you would not have, and that's one of the things. That's why I think it's amazing that SimWorld Prep is showcasing these kids nationally, giving them that kind of spotlight at a young age. Hopefully, kids don't ruin it. We just finished talking about Barkley, and maybe he'll get another chance somewhere else or at another level. Who knows? To redeem
Right.
himself, to show some maturity. But this is it's on the job training. What's better than on the job training of figuring out
Yeah.
how to navigate the media and like realistically. We've seen lots of players at the NBA level, the SWBA level, and all of that, where the talent was one thing, but nobody acquiesced to what you found. The media or the media's perception of you can change an entire career.
Yep.
I'll even take a positive approach to it. Isaiah Thomas, the smaller one, new IT,
Yeah. Okay.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
retro
Yeah.
IT. Think about him. He was a short little guy that it was crazy that he got a shot. He ran the Boston Celtics, and the media was in love with him, and he was a darling, and he was on his way to one of the biggest contracts in history. He said, "Back up the Brinks truck." He went through his injury. Things were said behind the scenes. The media made a couple of comments. He went away. That's how it goes. Skilled or not, I think he still should have been playing. Skilled or not, if he was too bad of a defender in the first place, he still should, he if he was too bad of a defender down the road, he was in the first place too, which is the case.
Hmm.
But the media, navigating that media, what you say, how you come out and you say things. That's part of the game. It's not just what you do on the court. And most
Right.
importantly, kids, coaches, adults, everybody, everyone in 2023, everything has consequences. Everything.
Exactly.
That's how
Yep.
life works. There's a consequence. You can't just do whatever and then have someone else say, hey, well, it shouldn't have happened like that. You know what shouldn't have happened like that? You being able to control your comments in particular settings.
Right. The
Every
comments
setting
in general
it
have
provides the
some.
opportunity. Know your audience. Know when you're supposed to be, yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. Know when you're supposed to be your authentic self. Know when to play the role. And everybody's like, hey, I'm going to be me. Well, guess what? You're going to be you unemployed, or you're going to be you without all the opportunities that you're supposed to have in front of you. Great job.
Yeah.
You got to be able to navigate those things. So I think the kids get the opportunity to learn that here at an early age in SimWorld Prep.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of a lot of this is that, like you said, the kids get that firsthand experience and on the job training that, in my opinion, is really beneficial. Coming from a media point of view, when I went to broadcasting school, and at the broadcast school,
You
we got
better
on the
have
job.
if you here on
We got
SimWorld
we
today.
we got on the job training. I remember going to Orioles game opening day, and we got to interview fans, and that was wild to me to be in that environment. But that was some of the best training that I got to do in my time at the school. So you live and you learn from a lot of these experiences, and best way to learn is by doing.
Hey,
In my
and
personal opinion.
you got to do it. And everyone wants to talk about if LeBron's the GOAT or not, but he has a team. I'm going to give you three examples. Back in the day, you know who got to be themselves? And I'm gonna use a terrible example. Y'all can say what you want. And he was referenced a while back, I think by Rick Blaze brought him up. As a Houston fan, I'm supposed to hate him. As a basketball lover, we have to respect what he did. As a human being, Karl Malone was a piece of garbage, but no one knew that. No one knew
Yep.
that at that time because the media wasn't around like that, and we've learned that he's a terrible human being. If anyone knows anything about
Yeah.
it, that now it's come out. Fast forward, um, fast forward to today, or a little bit, not quite today. In LeBron's early days, where social media is popping and the media was everything at that point, he said some things and did some things very early on where even though he looked even then like he may be one of the greatest players of all time, the media was ready to showcase, what it was he did. And it's not that someone was bashing him; they just reported what it was, and the mass populace kind of turned on him a little bit with what he did with the how he navigated the whole decision thing and all of that, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
media.
Yep.
That's part of the job. That's part of the gig. It's not just on the court. Cool.
Yep.
Come full circle to today. He figured out how to navigate those things. So it's not just what he's done on the court that's made him great. He is one of the biggest media presences and one of the most well managed media presence of all time in any sport. And it's
Yep.
because of him being able to navigate the media, not just saying, I'm going to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. And he's the greatest player that has ever lived in a lot of people's books. And guess what? He understands there's rules. There's rules, guys. Learn how to navigate that media. We're giving you the opportunity here at 15, 16, 17. Learn from mistakes. More importantly, as my mom would tell me, don't always learn from your own damn mistakes. You should be learning from other
Yes,
people's.
exactly.
Save
Other
yourself some
people.
trouble.
Yep. Yep. Legacy Group is also there to help you all out too, similar prep players. So definitely
Oh,
use
shout
them
out
as a
Legacy Group.
resource as well. Definitely use them for sure. They can help you navigate a lot of things that you might not want to at the moment. So definitely use them.
Shout out Legacy Group. I appreciate you. Much love. They've been working hard as hell, harder than they probably had to here the last couple of weeks with all these kids changing their minds. They never thought they were going to be this busy. So shout out to Legacy Group. So, yep. All right. B-Ron, Jay Laster.
Yeah.
Jay
Yeah.
Laster, as we know, he's at least verbally committed to joining the OGs, the originators up in the Northeast. You know, I keep making my jokes about what else is up there, but I have recently found out that I'm going to have to make my way to the Northeast. Because when I made all those jokes, you know what I will do? I will sit up at a sunny, well-weathered bar next to a nice little blonde-haired rich woman, and I'm going to enjoy me. I'm going to enjoy some of the finest seafood, some clam chowder, as well as some calamari and ceviche in Cape Cod. So I do know that I actually do love the Northeast. But apparently so does Jay Laster. What kind of effect is he going to have on the OGs, if any at all?
So, man, I think that he's going to have more of an impact than I guess maybe some people might be thinking that he's gonna have. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be DJ Wagner levels of impact, but I think that he's going to bring a lot of, I don't want to call it veteran leadership because again all these kids are 15, 17 years old, but having played a lot, having played on your brother's team last season, you can take a lot of that experience from that team and bring it over to the OGs with this season. And I think it's going to help out too, just by being able to open up the floor for some other teammates, Chase Daniel, Kamari Ward, and even Ilgauskas at times if you get him involved as well. There's a lot there that he could do for the OGs, and I'm very excited to see what he could bring. But I think the biggest thing that he's gonna be is a vocal leader for them. Not sure who team captain's gonna be, but I'd imagine it will
I
be
was just
Jay
about to
Last.
ask you that.
Even though he's the new kid on the block, I think that he would come in and spend himself quickly as that vocal leader for the team that they need.
No, well, yeah, I was just gonna ask you that. I again,
Yep.
I think I was kind of hard on him a couple weeks ago when I talked about, I just think I think he's a very talented kid. I just don't know how much he adds to that squad. He put up around 14 points a game, almost 2 assists. He only played 22 23 minutes a game. but he just was nowhere. I'm gonna be honest, he was nowhere near aggressive enough for me. But I know he was playing alongside Bianco. You saw Trey Willis just go crazy at times.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So
Exactly.
I think he'll have a bigger role. And I think Coach Dodge, like we said, she really maximizes what she has on her squad. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I want to see Jay Laster anything short of 20 a game, 4 assists a game. I'm gonna be disappointed. He's 6'5". He's 6'5". He is talented. He has a nice mid-range game. He can play on the block. We've seen some post savvy. Coach Laster tried to play him last year at the point some. Didn't look too bad there either. So I want to see him showcase all of his skill set because I feel like we didn't see anywhere near everything that he's capable of at Yacht Club. So anything less 20 points, 4 assists a game is going to be a disappointment to me. I'm gonna be honest. But that's because I have high expectations for him. And honestly, I'm rooting for him because I feel like he didn't get a chance to really just get out there and get it done last season at that level. And quite honestly, I root for Coach Dodge. I think she does. She goes about things the right way. Really
Absolutely.
positive attitude and approach with her players. That's why she's had like a breakout player every year that really didn't expect much from. So or not that we didn't expect much from, but a breakout player. So now she gets to bring
100%.
somebody in from another camp and say, "Hey, I'm gonna highlight him. Hey, big bro, I know you had him before, but you know I know you made it a hot line. I made it a hot song, right? Like I wanted to come in with that kind of vibe. Coach Dodge, take the Jay-Z approach. Like you couldn't get it done, big bro. I'm gonna elevate your little bro. I'm gonna put him in a
Yeah.
spotlight, and he's gonna shine with me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Most definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all works out too, man. And we are a few hours away. Well, a few hours, you know what I mean. We don't have much time left until our final cut deadline approaches. We're right here around the corner, man. So, are there any surprise cuts or last minute things that you expect to see from a team that would really just throw you for a loop? Because I have a few that come to mind for me. And when I say surprise, I mean surprise. So I'm talking things like Israel Vines getting cut from Showtime. Like I'm talking, Kadarius Stack getting cut from Southeast Select. The things like that. Any surprise cuts like that you could see happening, or ones that will make you go, "Wow, that was really dumb."
Well, I'm not gonna root for any kid to get cut from a
Of
team.
course
It
not.
just
No,
doesn't feel good. So I don't even know
no,
if
of
I want
course.
to say anything. I will tell you, I know a couple that I've heard from my sources that I do believe are going to happen. I'm not going to speak to what they are. I think we will see some, as we've seen a few players. I think we're what a couple, like you said, a couple hours. One of the things that people don't account for is this is not only the cutting period, but the cut deadline approaching for SimWorld Prep, but it's also the deadline for players, incoming players, to join SimWorld Prep for the season. And we've had some last minute people commit to join SimWorld Prep in our recruiting pool, which I think opens the door and lends itself to some of these teams maybe making some last minute cuts. So I think I think we will see some more for that reason.
Yeah, that's very possible. And I to clarify, I guess on my end too, I'm not the person to advocate for anybody getting cut in any sense, form, or fashion that does not feel good. Obviously, but nature of where we are
Yep.
in the quote unquote business, if you will, side of things. These moves have to be made. So that was mostly why the topic came to begin with.
Yeah. No
We had
doubt.
to
I
talk
mean,
about it. You know what I mean?
it's one of the things. It's real. It's real in our
Yeah.
world, right? So we're gonna move on from that before we jinx somebody. If
Yeah, of
that's
course.
okay
Right.
with
Yeah.
you,
Yeah, of course.
so it's gonna happen though. Henrik Vekic to Purdue. Yeah, I mean, surprise,
Yeah.
surprise. We saw some news on that last night. That teams are still going after him. He did not have the greatest season at all last year, but you know what
No,
he
he
did
really
show, and that's how prep level basketball. The skill was still seen. The skill and what he's able to do at 6'10", 240.
Yep.
And looks like stateside. For all y'all are saying international kids don't get any love, man, kill all that because we're looking at it right now. Henrik Vekic getting some looks from Purdue and other top tier colleges right now.
Yeah.
I hate to be redundant and say I'm excited to see it, but I do want to see what he does at that conference and at a non. For me, that's not a major school. Well, it is, but it's not one of the powerhouse schools. So I think he'll actually get some run in
Right.
the
It's not
system.
North Carolina, Kansas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's.
Yeah.
I think he can make a major impact there.
I think he definitely can. He can too. There was talk in the in social media about it too. And I think I was actually brought it up about possibly seeing that Lorenzo Phenom Henrik Vekic matchup in that conference.
Yeah.
Uh, as soon as the freshman season, if they register, I don't know, but you could see it sooner than expected. But either way, like that'd be fun because they're both bigger, stronger, and might have a little more sauce to their games,
I
if you will.
definitely think it. We've seen different things from Vekic each year. Again, he had a down year last year, in my opinion, but he
Hmm.
definitely. We saw some new stuff in his bag. His face-up game was something that we did not see in the Ground Zero season. We did see it last year, so I think I'm of the vein that this kid works on his game heavily each off season.
Yeah, he's gonna need to continue to just put in the work, and like we said a few weeks ago, Yells. For those international players in particular, you don't always need to come stateside to start your career, but as you continue it, if you want to come stateside, a college offers it to you, and you want to go that route, you definitely can. But if you're good enough, they'll come find you. Henry Vekic is a prime example of that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Prime example of that. And with that being said, guys, we are gonna get out of here. That's gonna do it for this week in SimWorld today. If you missed the news that broke last night, we are going to have a commitment craze special. That's October 8th, Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So be there for that. Mark your calendars for all of that as well. Yo, but why don't you take the outro honors for today?
Man, you know what it is.
You know.
SimWorld. See the game. Be the game.
We'll see you guys on Monday.